All right, Iowa and Rutgers, the other game on Friday night, Big Ten action. This is probably the Fox game. Yes, it is. It's Fox Friday night college game. We've got Iowa 2.5-point road favorites, 45 the total here in this game. And obviously, when you see Iowa and Rutgers, that's why the total is where it is here in this one. You look at Iowa, and they're probably going to look at it as, this is a good step in the right direction for the offense, but you can't go overboard with it. You played UMass. It was pretty pathetic defensively. That being said, I think this team needed to see, a game where they lit up the scoreboard, and they were able to do that. Still, 179 passing yards for Gronowski against, a pretty bottom tier defense. It's not like he, chucked the football up and down the field on them in that game, but still pretty solid numbers. 201 rushing yards for Iowa, 22-8 in first downs. Like, it was pretty much domination, which you would have expected. I actually cashed a small over bet in that UMass-Iowa game. I said, you know what? This is the one game I think Iowa can actually light it up offensively and put points on the board, and sure enough, they did that after their first two games stayed under, and the offense was kind of pedestrian in both of those games. Meanwhile, Rutgers, they escaped Ohio in their first game, 34-31. Blew out Miami, Ohio, 45-17 after that, and put 60 on the board against Norfolk State last week. I've not been overly enthusiastic about Athan Kaliakmanis, but I'll say this: numbers are pretty good. 3 games, 72% completions, 820 through the air, 9 yards per pass, 7 touchdowns, no interceptions. Can't do much better than that. His numbers are really good, Kaliakmanis here. But you have faced, Ohio's a good MAC team. So I'm going to give them credit for hanging on, even though they gave up points. And we know Parker Navarro and the offense for Ohio can be pretty good. Miami, that was a pretty good showing. Norfolk State, hard to read much into that. They did what they should have done. Let's see how Kaliakmanis responds here against this Iowa defense, because Iowa still has a pretty good defense once again, like they always do. There's no doubt Phil Parker's been the DC here forever, and they always seem to have a great defense. And so far, they gave up just the 16 in the loss to Iowa State, and then 7 points against UMass and Albany. So can Rutgers move the football against by far the best defense, the most resistance they will face on defense so far this season? That's going to be the big question here. This is a no bet for me at the current number. This is one of these games, CMAC, where you take 3 with whoever is getting 3. That's where I'm at with this game. If this gets to Rutgers +3, I'm probably taking Rutgers +3. If this was, Rutgers laying 2.5 in this game and it got to 3, I'd probably take Iowa +3. It's going to be one of these type of games where I expect it to be close. I expect it to be, a game where it's not going to be easy for big plays and for points to come by any stretch of the imagination. And I'll say this, the one thing that could tilt this, though, in Iowa's favor, and as we see here, they are certainly very solid, their road favorites here, 2.5, is that Iowa, does lean on the run. They've picked up, 214 rushing yards per game this season, 4.9 yards per carry. The Rutgers run defense has been surprisingly leaky this season so far. If you look at Rutgers, they've allowed 148.7 rushing yards per game. They're allowing 5.6 yards per carry. That's a concern against Iowa, because Iowa's going to pound it and pound that rock, run the football, and Rutgers has had some issues in their run defense so far this year. So that's a matchup advantage that could tilt this in Iowa's favor. So it's kind of one of these deals where at +3, I would lean Rutgers, but I don't know if I love the matchup, because I do worry about the Scarlet Knights defense. I do worry about Kaliakmanis, the quarterback, taking the big step up in class against the best defense he's faced so far this season. CMAC, what do you think? Friday night, Big Ten action.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing here and I think this Iowa defense is pretty good. You know what I mean? I think they can hold down Rutgers here. I don't think Rutgers has looked very good. Like, I guess the offense has, but yeah, they've got gashed here a little bit.
Before you get too excited about the Miami-Ohio result, Miami-Ohio never puts in a good game in a non-conference showing. Like, when's the last time Chuck Martin and Miami played well in a non-conference game? They always seem to get, run over in those games.
Yeah. lost a few of those teams do
Yeah.
in the MAC, as we know. But I just think Iowa's just going to go in with their slow game plan here, run the ball, better defense, and I think they're just the better team, flat out. They should be able to have success running the ball against Rutgers. I just don't trust Rutgers. I don't trust Kadak Banis. It's just 2.5. I kind of lean Iowa here. I think the under is the play. I think the Rutgers team total under is it. I think that's the look here a little bit. I think Iowa's defense is that good, and they come to bring it here. I have to look up what their team total is, but I'm guessing it's going to be what, under 21?
Looks like 21.5. Oh, there's 21.5
Rutgers?
with juice to the under. 21.5 shaded to the under, but you can get above the hook or above the key number of 21. Yep.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to be on this game.
There you go. Rutgers team total under. All right. We got a bet from CMAC for Friday night in the Big Ten on Fox.